Of glamorized or pervasive smoking in movies could get an R rating. So what's going on here? Are they caving into PC pressure? Is this a necessary step to curb people from smoking? And how are they going to judge this? Mark Dan, Ohio's Attorney General, and Gary Nolan, spokesman for the Smokers Club, join us now. Mr. Dan, good morning, sir. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Mark. Thanks for having me.
You're in favor of this, right?
Well, I don't think it goes far enough. The AGs of the country, 41 of us, have been engaged in a dialogue with the motion picture industry going back to 2003. When the Dartmouth School of Public Health issued a report saying that glamorizing smoking in movies increases the incidence of teen smoking. And as we know that most smokers start before the age of 18, it's a critical issue. And what the motion picture industry agreed to do yesterday really doesn't go very far. It just says they might consider it in determining an R rating. It is not even going to ban smoking in R-rated movies or in movies that aren't R-rated. And we think that they haven't complied not only with the Dartmouth School of Public Health, but Harvard University School of Public Health. Part of what we agreed with the motion picture industry is that they would follow the recommendations of the Harvard School of Public Health. Well, they completed their work this year, and they've recommended a ban in movies that are available to children, and we think that that's what it ought to be.
Well, I'm not arguing against this, mind you, but I'm struggling with some of the nitty-gritty, you know, the devil's in the details. For example, what kind of image glamorizes smoking and what kind of image doesn't? Who's going to draw that line, and where's it going to be drawn?
Well, I think the image of Edward R. Murrow dying of lung cancer does not glamorize smoking in that movie, and it's historically accurate. And that's not the kind of movie that we're talking about. We're talking about a movie where people are smoking to be cool, in the very typical ways that that the movies have been used over the years to do that.
So almost anyway. All right, let's let Gary Nolan from the Smokers Club present his point of view. Gary?
Well, thank you very much. I want to tell you that the voice of reason here appears to have prevailed, as the Motion Picture Association of America called it an extreme proposal, and suggests that the anti-tobacco extremists have offered up some inaccurate statements. Apparently, from July of 2004 until 2006, the percentage of films that included even a fleeting glimpse of smoking dropped from 60 to 52%. And of those films, 75% already had an R rating for other factors. So 3 out of 4 films that contain any smoking over the past several years already had an R rating. Look,
that would seem to me to support Mr. Dan's position. It sounds like it's going to have minimal impact, so why not do it?
Well, what they're saying is that this is not the course to go, and if they cave to this kind of pressure, then they necessarily have to cave when they show somebody who's terribly obese on screen, because as the Attorney General knows, that's the second leading cause of death in this country. So, I mean, and what if the woman is too thin? Is that an unnatural state, and should Ms. Magazine file a complaint and say it should be an R rating? Should a Douglas MacArthur movie have an R rating? Let's let common sense prevail, and I think they have.
Mr. Dan, he's making the slippery slope argument.
By the way, I loved you as Nick Taylor, and thank you for smoking. Good job in that movie. Our state has to pick up the bill for these addicted smokers that are being coerced
I'm not sure they're being
coerced. No, wait a second.
Not being coerced, but they're certainly being enticed. They're being enticed into using these addictive products long before they're of the age of legal consent. And when they were unable to do it on TV, they took it to the movie screens very successfully. And they continue to glamorize it, not just on movies, but on television shows. And we're taking up that battle as well. I mean, we're going to raise the issue because the public health of the people of the United States requires it.
What about
there are people all over the United States who are lying in beds, hospital beds, in this country, suffering from cancer.
This is getting utterly, this is really dry. First of all, the state of Ohio is not suffering the consequences of smokers. Smokers who succumb to cancer, die early, don't collect retirement benefits, don't collect Social Security. Actually, if they die of Alzheimer's, the disease lingers for 10, 15 years. At the end of the day, the truth is that that the state of Ohio is not suffering as the result of smokers.
Well, maybe
and while I would like to see everybody, while I would like to see everybody quit smoking, I think political correctness run amok is not is not indicated, and I also think that we need to quit trampling people's rights. For instance, here in Ohio, we're not allowed to smoke in bars and restaurants. We've got to stop that nonsense, too.
Mr.
The
Dan,
voters of the,
Mr.
the voters of the state just enacted that ban.
Mr. Dan, please, I would like to hear you address, though, the point that Mr. Nolan raised about, you know, other forms of behavior. In particular, what about drinking? Why aren't we talking about drinking as well?
We talk about drinking all the time, and in fact, we've just sent a letter recently to Anheuser-Busch, who are marketing something called spikes, which are little add-ons to soft drinks that can be perfect for a date at the prom to put into drinks. Marketing to children is a serious issue. It is a public health concern. It's not just me. This is the Dartmouth School of Public Health. It's the Harvard School of Public Health. There's a consensus in the medical community in this country that children gain their addictions early, or who are enticed by this type of glamorizing of cigarettes, become addicted before the age of 18 to a product that will kill them.
I don't mean to be rude, but I do have to cut it off because of our time constraint. But I thank you very much, Mark Dan, Ohio's Attorney General, Gary Nolan, spokesman for the Smokers Club. Our Power and Money series is going to continue this morning, and we're also going to talk about, what are we going to, oh yeah, that's